I think you just need to balance out, not spend all your time like watching the
Right.
content and scrolling through Instagram, trying to get inspired. If something inspires you, it will find you.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good topic too, is just in relation to that, because you're right. Like, I don't tend to scroll too much, so it's usually if it lands on the first post, that then I'll see it. So I don't get to see too much, but occasionally I see something, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But then there's things like Facebook, which I managed to find like a Google Chrome extension that blocks the Facebook feed. And so I hear all these horrific stories of people like, they jump on their feed and they see like animals being tortured because someone shared it, or things like that. And for me, like whenever I go onto Facebook, it just comes up with like a quote from Lincoln or whoever, and there's no Facebook wall. So either I'm going there intentionally to message someone, or I go on there and it's completely blank.
Yeah.
So having that extension kind of, protects me from being distracted or demotivated by negative stuff. So
That's actually a good, really, really, really good point. It's something to consider. Consider excluding all distracting factors from your life, like get rid of TV, get rid of news, don't participate in any political debates or even thinking about it, because that's distracting thing. I actually got rid of political thoughts in my life. Seriously, I was big on like discuss something about some countries. It was destructive for myself. I got rid of it, not wasting any energy on that. There is no point. Throw that energy elsewhere.
Yeah, no, that's good advice, because you're right. Like, I think that it's good to surround yourself with things that are positive, they're going to pull you up, but it's also worth paying attention to the things that are negative, negatively affect you, even people around you too. Because as you mentioned, I think your brother-in-law, like having people that support you and also emotionally support you. But let's say you have friends that maybe tell you to like, give up on art because it's a waste of time, or they're always distracting you, to go do things that aren't too beneficial to you. It's sometimes important to kind of separate yourself from that. If you're really focused on the big goals you want to do and you got people telling you to, to kind of settle, then sometimes it's better to find the people who are going to get behind you.
I think it will be gone over maybe generation, but yeah, it's still there. People saying like, don't do that. And in the beginning, like I'm advising to people, if that's the case, you can't feed yourself. Like you have to find the job that will feed you, keep developing in evenings, like hustle. You have to hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to jump around a little bit, I was curious, like actually one thing that you mentioned before, which I think is really valuable too, is just you mentioned with directors, like knowing everything. And that's how I kind of see things too, is it's kind of like an hourglass where I think starting as a generalist, you begin to specialize over time. But I always find that later on you start to branch out again, because as you begin to supervise, or whether you want to manage, bigger teams, like you need to have that 30,000 foot view of how everything operates. And I think that's really good what you mentioned, because to move into directing or something, maybe you have that niche that helped you kind of stand out and get there, but you need to have an understanding of what everyone does. Otherwise, you can't utilize everyone in doing what you need to get done.
You can't even evaluate the time necessary for particular task completion. Yeah, totally.
When it came time to launch your own company, whether it is just realizing the workload involved, or how to get clients, or what experiences do you have?
It's an interesting question. The thing is that in 2020, I'm not entirely convinced that company is necessary for artists, especially because, again, in the comments or emails, people send hey, I just launched the studio, or hey, I want to launch a studio.